Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be covering the Giro SF, super fun race, a hometown race for us here in San Francisco and for Team Dolce Vita. Today's fun. I'm excited to cover a number of things. We're going to go through some race highlights. We're going to talk about how to deal with bumps in corners and kind of what to or not to do when it comes to managing your drivetrain as you have to navigate through corners. We're going to talk about teams, team tactics, and the big one of the day. They say it can't be done. Many have said it can't be done. Real team tactics in a Cat 4 and 5 race. At least I feel they're pretty real. Hopefully they might not be well executed, but we're trying, right? That's what we're here for. We're trying. So we're off already. We're headed up the only riser in this race, a little kicker. It's maybe 30 seconds or so. Not a big deal. Not something that really is consequential in the race, I would say, as far as like a feature that would either have you lose the pack or not. At least not for me. We head down this back straightaway, slightly downhill. The pavement is a little bit crappy on the left-hand side, and it gets a little bit crappy heading into this right-hand corner here. And this is what we're going to be talking about regarding how to deal with managing your drivetrain as you go through those corners and as you exit them. But today was a big field. We had 75 riders start. Teams were well represented. We had San Jose Bikes. We had WeBike. There was a couple of individual team riders, a couple of fast, unattached riders as well. But the two big teams here was my team, Dolce Vita, and Super Sprinkles. I knew going into this race that likely, it would be our job and the Sprinkles team job to try and control this race. Alto Velo's also here. They just popped into frame. And yeah, I'm stoked about this race. I got to pedal my bicycle here. I didn't drive. Set up early. I volunteered for setup, so my day started well before our 9:40 a.m. race. I think I was here at 6:30 a.m. setting up. Volunteer if you can, folks. If you're in the area, we need volunteers so bad to help make these races happen. But yeah, so we just did a lap. Things are settling in. Our team came out and wanted to make this fast kind of from the beginning and string out those 75 riders, blow those who are not ready out the back, and try to keep this race very safe. For whatever reason, historically, when I talk to people, they kind of feel like this race isn't that safe, or there are crashes often. I don't know why, but that's kind of the sense I got. We're going to see the first drivetrain failure happen right there. That poor fellow's trailer literally got sucked into his wheel, it looked like. Pretty bad. And, well, let's go into that. This course is not technical, but there are bumps leading into some of these high-speed corners. And early on in the race, those who did not know how to manage that, it was quickly apparent, and ultimately they left the race within the first 5 to 6 laps. All the drivetrain failures that I saw occurred very early on, and it's primarily due to pedaling too early out of these corners and trying to get back on the gas too fast. And it's something that luckily I feel I can talk on a little bit and maybe give some advice on with my experience mountain biking and racing downhill. Managing your drivetrain and knowing when to pedal versus not pedal when you're riding a downhill course is so critical and a large part of every race. Typically it's not a big deal for us here in crits, but on this course it is. And to break it down, due to the placement of these bumps heading into the corners, you really have to allow your drivetrain to settle down before you get back on the gas and before you start pedaling. If that means the wheel in front of you gets a little gap and gets another 3 feet, that's fine, because the alternative of pedaling too early is a dropped chain. You're out of the race. You're done. So that's the one place that I feel like it's like, okay, maybe we can talk about this and I can lend some words of wisdom as a new racer on the road. Give your drivetrain a chance to settle down. The chain is moving up and down and side to side, and it's that side to side motion that if you decide to pedal on, could result in a dropped chain, a skipped gear, something over the top, or like, God forbid, like you just completely are not attached to anything and your foot slips out, right, and you're off the track or down, and taking people with you. All right, so yeah, that's drivetrain stuff. Let's move on in the race to where things get interesting. Okay, hopping back in here, we're 25 minutes into the race. The field has been split up into 2 groups now. There's a lead group, there's a following group. I think we're at about 30 riders in the front group and another 30 in the back. 15 or so have just been pulled or relegated, or like they're out. They were pulling riders this race, so that was pretty great for us at the front. And right here I'm going to talk about maybe I made many mistakes in this race, of course, but this is maybe a big one that could be learned from. And it's right here, I didn't attack. The San Jose rider went off the front. I see all 3 people in front of me, let off the gas, and what I wish I had done is just gone in there and sent it, right? Snap that elastic. All 3 of them were creating a blockade. I don't know if anyone would have been able to follow me, but that seemed like a spot where I could have done better. I should have stood up, dropped some watts, got to that San Jose rider, and then started rolling through and kind of create an opportunity for us to potentially get away. The only thing that I would say there are 2 factors that ultimately led to me not doing it. One, I was tired already, and I didn't really want to go up there and put in more watts after heading up the hill. And 2, the San Jose rider didn't have a hugely represented team, and I knew Sprinkles was on the front with Kaylin and Daniel, who we'll see more of later. So I wasn't sure that we would be able to stick and stay away, knowing that the 2 strong riders from Sprinkles would want to pull this back immediately. They do have the firepower to do it, and the San Jose team doesn't have anyone up there to really block or kind of play the game to keep their rider away at the moment. At least I didn't see that at the moment. So yeah, missed opportunity maybe. Wish I kind of had stepped on it to see what had happened. Only kind of noticed it after I reviewed the footage and thought, wow, I should have just pulled through there and split, shot the gap and done it. But in the race, I was a bit more conservative. All right, let the fun begin. They say team tactics can't be done in 4 or 5 races, and I'm here to say, bollocks, yes they can. I notice my boy Aymen, super strong rider, on my team off the front with Kaylin. They've got a nice little gap, they've established it. I immediately get to the front. I see this as an opportunity, and I start playing the game. What is playing the game? Playing the game is trying to slow everybody down. So my teammate and the Sprinkles teammate, Aymen and Kaylin, are up the road. I have Daniel here on the orange bike, who is also working to keep everyone away, because there's only 6 laps to go. We're 33 minutes into this race. The probability of this thing staying away is pretty good. So every time that I can, or I see the opportunity, I get to the front and I start putting in baby watts. I'm not really throwing, I'm not trying to catch them. I'm just trying to slow the group down for 1 to 2 seconds until they realize, hey, we're not going as fast as we were a second ago. We gotta go. And so that's kind of what I just did on repeat. Is someone would take the front, they would get tired, they wouldn't want to be on the front anymore. I would get on the front. I make it look like I'm putting in real watts. I'm not, man. We're doing 22, 21 miles an hour up this hill, and every second that the peloton spends either trying to get around me or not realizing that we're going so slow is another second that breakaway gets away. And that was it. That's what I did here. Is I'm going full. I mean, this is a team sport. I enjoy this aspect of bicycle racing more than anything else at this point. Being able to work for a teammate and level up the tactics. No longer is it, hey, how hard can I pedal my bike or sit in the draft or take this corner smooth? Now it's, in addition to that, how can I get this group to slow down? How can I allow my teammate to find success? And how can I help them actively? And I would say that this is one thing that I'd love to get your thoughts on. Is the two ways that I saw it could be done is I could actively try to slow down the group and work to keep them away, or I could sit in, and if they want to chase, just let them and save my energy. So I took the tact of being active, getting on the front, following attacks, or even moving to the front in order to slow down the pack. Very active take on it. It could have also been more passive. But love your thoughts. To put the cat out of the bag, the brake gets caught. What could have been done better to keep this thing away? Could anything have been done? What would you have done to help keep those two riders out in the distance and far away from the pack? If you look up the road right now, they're out there. It's pretty healthy. I'm feeling quite good about this. And every moment I can, I'm just just looking, hoping to see them getting smaller in the distance and not see people flying around me. So let's move forward to the move that results in them being caught. All right, so I'm still playing my games. We're 38 minutes into the race now, and there goes Michael King. Michael's a good friend of mine. Super strong, unattached rider that I have to be wary of in every race. He's so strong. And he finally gets the right people lined up here at the front. Most of these guys right here finish in the top 10 of the race to really put in a concerted effort to bring this thing back. And I'm feeling it right now. This is hard. My heart rate is up at mid 180s or something? Like, I'm holding on, but I've been covering all these attacks for the past 4 laps, and it's tough, really, and I'm getting tired just trying to keep them away. But Mike puts in this monster effort here, half lap to get him close. I try to pop through again and do what I've always done, and you'll notice here, look, Aymen and Kalen, they're not drafting anymore. I don't know if they weren't working together quite as well, or if they started playing games, or what happened, but this was my one last effort here to get on the front and keep them away as long as I could. And ultimately, the brake gets caught, mostly due to Mike's effort to get them within striking distance here. And let's jump forward and we'll see where the catch is actually made. All right, here we are, not even half a lap later. This orange rider, unattached rider, jumps across, big power. I'm actually not too worried about that. I'm okay with a third person joining them, and I'm even okay with someone like San Jose Bikes joining them. But it's all for naught my efforts have come to an end. They're looking back. They're not driving it forward anymore. And we're at 38, 39 minutes into this 40-minute crit. This is it. We're headed into the bell lap. And we'll just go through the bell lap. At this point, I'm pretty cooked. I'm sitting at 180 on the heart rate. That is very high. Been covering attacks. But my goals for this race were to come in and get points. And that's what I really wanted. So I was definitely in it to like stick in this and see how we could do. But ultimately, I think some mistakes were made on my part in the last lap, and we'll kind of take a look at them. Maybe get your thoughts as well on what could have been done in this last lap. Things are starting to get cagey at the front. You can see the kind of stiffness in everyone's body as they go through the corners. Heading up this riser, I knew this would be the spot where things start to get really fast. I saw the bunch on the right and I poke out left and really give a hard dig. This is basically like just about everything I've got left. I started fading after this, but I knew I needed to move forward. I was sitting in 15th wheel or more. I try to get a little bit of rest here. And I start setting myself up on the outside line. I believe this is probably a mistake. If you look over to the right on the red bike, Mike, who helped bring me back the break, is sitting on that inside line area behind these other riders, and I do believe that was the better spot heading into these two right-handers. I swing wide, there goes 2 or 3 more spots. Should have been over on the right-hand side. I swing a little wide again, another rider dives bomb, so now there's 4 people in front of me, 4 more people in front of me in the last corners heading into this, and that's just not good. And then heading into the sprint, I pop out early and eat the win the whole way. I wonder if I had stayed in the draft, I might have been able to pick 1 or 2 more off there. Another mistake kind of area to improve. Ultimately took 11th on the race. Got 1 upgrade point out of it. Swear I'm just scraping the bottom of the barrel for these upgrade points. It's tough. But overall, super fun race. Getting to work with Aymen and Daniel and Kaylin to try and keep them away was by far the most enjoyable part of this race for me. And it's where I have the most fun in these bicycle races. So there you have it. Cat 4-5 tactics do exist. We are trying. Maybe they're not polished and refined, but we're out here doing what we can, and we'll see how it goes next one. We only got 1 race left in the 2022 season. It's going to happen at Oakland, and we're going to bring the fire to that one too.